Quick project we're trying to get done before we start cutting. I bid a bunch of these grizzly bear fences out in the Helmville, Ovando area. Not with the intent of getting them, and I ended up getting 3 of them that I got to get done before the end of the year. So we're gonna knock this one out here before haying. It's only 3,500 feet of fence, but it's got 13 gates, I think. So we put in 31 braces. Took us about 12 hours to put them all in. The ground drove really tough, so we had a hard time getting the posts in, but all the braces are in. Now we're going to measure off all of our line posts, pound those, and then we'll be able to put all the wires up, and then we'll have almost a full day of hanging gates and digging the underground wires. stretches pulled. Now we'll tighten it up and hook up all the clips to the fiberglass and staple the grounds. And this is what I like to see for a set of knots. Tied tight all the way down. Got your hot insulated one and then your ground one insulated. So we got 3 hots and 2 grounds. Should keep a bear out, they tell me. So stretch is all done. We're about wrapped up on this. We got to put 2 gates in and then put our hot wires on top of all these gates. I'll show you how we do that. Heat it up and we'll be out of here. Making a little progress. We've got all the posts pounded back around this way. And then we've got all the wires and everything clipped on this bottom half. So it's starting to come together. We buried the underground cables on about half the gates this morning. They're in conduit. Come out the other side. Another 2 days we'll probably have this job all knocked out. Today's a little nicer, cool, and a little bit rainy. We haven't got too wet yet, but we might by the end of the day. So at every gate we have to bury an underground. So we've got conduit down and then we run 2 hots and a ground through that conduit to carry the power through the gate. A bit windy today, but then on each side you got to run up, and we have our bottom wire on a separate circuit so it doesn't, when it shorts out with the grass or snow, you can shut it off. Then we carry a wire up to our second hot and carry that power up to the third one, and then our ground just carries through. And then we run these vertical wires at every brace that ties the grounds together, and then it also helps dissipate any of the static in that fence. It'll carry it to ground if it's going through the insulators. Long process. I think we got 13 of these gates in this fence, and they're all doubles, so twice as much work. we're getting close to wrapping this job up. We hung the gates. We did 21 gates. 10 of them were double 10s and then a little 4-foot gate. It's not too bad for, I think, 5 hours. We hung all those. And then they decided they needed to change something up to make this pasture work for their water tank. So we have to come back in a couple days and put in another 300 feet of fence and 3 gates, and we'll be done. We have to do some wires on top of the metal gates in case a bear wants to crawl over. So we got to cut those and then hook up the energizer, and this job will be done. Well, that's a wrap on this job. Got our last gate up and the hot top wire put on it so the bear can't crawl over it. Got everything tied together. I'm just gonna test it. So we just have this little tester that you can actually turn the fence on with. So we'll turn it on at 8.5, so it's pretty good. We have a little bit of a fault in our ground wire that I'm trying to trace at 0.4 kilovolts. So I'm gonna test that out and see what's going on. It's really intermittent, but and the bottom one is on a low voltage line, so it should be about 4. And our center wire is 8.9, so pretty hot. So 9. Well, that's a wrap for the bear fence. Got it all built and it's hot. Not so sure the answer to too many bears is fencing them out and you in, but that's kind of a question that's over this fence guy's head. So thanks for watching and tune in for the next video.